Bundys Garage, Bundy here, taking a drive in Southern California, in the mountains of Southern California. Hey, today guys, I want to talk to you about Honda Acura P0740. This kind of follow up to the video I did before on the linear solenoid, TCS solenoid. That is a very tricky code, and it took me a while to find that thing. If your transmission is slipping though, if it feels internal to you, it probably, changing that solenoid probably won't fix it. Mine was not slipping, it was more of a hard jolt, and I know at the end of the video I put the camera on the outside of the vehicle to try to show you guys what it looked like. And it's probably, looking back, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how it's jolting. I should actually have put it on the inside, and I think I do have some footage maybe that I can splice in right here and show you what it looks like from the inside when it actually did kick into gear. But it was a hard slam. It felt like the engine was going to fall out, or the transmission was going to fall out, and it also made the tires chirp. Happened from first to second to third, but you know, now reading more about it, it also happens on my case. It only happened on the upshift. Downshifting, it didn't happen, but I've also read in certain circumstances it would actually happen on the downshift as well. So it's a hard shift, a jolt, transmission jolt, first, second, third, and happening on upshift, downshift. And looking more closely at the linear solenoid that I pulled out, the solenoid actually looks damaged. I'll put in footage right now, but as you can see on the right hand side, I want to say tunnel, but it's not a tunnel. It almost looks like, probably if you guys are old enough, you remember old 35 millimeter film used to come in a black cartridge with a gray top. It looks like an old film canister is what these two tubes look like. They look like old film canisters to me. But inside there is the internal workings of the actual solenoid, the motor that would push the pin in and out. But on the one on the right here, you can see that's actually crooked. Looks like it's been damaged. Looking at the transmission that this solenoid came off of, it was replaced. There's a marking on it on the side that says 2011. So it looks like this transmission has been replaced in 2011. When that took place, you know, not knowing, you know, where this transmission came from, but obviously it could get damaged in shipping, it could get damaged when installation took place. Reading on the forums as well, there's times and incidences where somebody will have a transmission rebuilt, be that in a Honda Accord, a Honda Odyssey, an Acura TL. This is also in your CLs, this will be in your Ridgelines, Pilots, referring to the V6, the V6 engine, the J series engine. But I've also read forums where guys are talking about it happens on their 4 cylinders as well. So even though there's been instances where the transmission has been rebuilt and a week later the problem comes back, it could be a solenoid. You know, that I could only imagine the frustration and the anger and just the fact that you want to pull your hair out when you have your transmission rebuilt, and then you think everything's good, you put it back together, or whoever, you know, does the installation and the rebuild, they put it back together, and lo and behold, the problem is still there because the solenoid was never changed. On the linear solenoid, when you pull it off the top of the transmission, there are 3 pins, and I'll try to get a picture of that right now. Those pins you can actually pull up. I was not able to pull it by hand. I got just a needle nose pliers, and I didn't grip it with all my strength. Just use very little pressure. You could probably even use tweezers, but to get these things out. Pull them out one by one because they are different lengths, but at the very end of them, on the bottom side towards the transmission, there are tiny little screens inside there. So when I pulled all 3 of them out one by one, I would pull it out, inspect it. There was some clutch material on them. Taking some brake cleaner, I sprayed it one way, and then I sprayed it the other way, so just to get all the clutch material out of those pins. or those metal dowels. They're hollow metal dowels, and that's what the transmission fluid actually flows in and out of. There are screens in there, so make sure you clean those before you put the new linear solenoid on there. I was lucky enough to find this solenoid at a junkyard. They actually charged me $40 for it. I've looked down on rockauto.com for this solenoid, and it was about, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was about $230. For that price, I think the one at the dealership is probably about $100 more, about $300. So if you're lucky enough to find one at a junkyard, awesome. There's no guarantees that there are no guarantees that it will work, but it's worth a shot. When you're trying to save money, doing it yourself, to spend $40 than it is to spend dealership pricing. We're trying to buy one online. I've seen them also on Amazon, and rockauto.com carries these linear solenoids as well. That'd actually be a good business for somebody to get into, is to go to all the junkyards around there and snake up all the solenoids and sell them on eBay. So if someone starts doing that and they got the idea from me, give me a big thumbs up. So that's just something I wanted to share a little bit more with you guys on the Honda Acura P0740 code. In some instances, the transmission is shot. There's nothing you can do to it to fix it. Like I said, if it's slipping very badly, changing a solenoid is not going to fix it. The damage is already done internally to the transmission, so not much you can do to fix that unless it's a rebuild. Once again, I'll go over the symptoms that I was having. Hard shift, first to second, second to third. Chirp the tires. I only experienced it on the upshift, but I've read forums where it talks about it also happens on the downshift as well. The check engine light would come on, as well as the TCS light on the dashboard would come on as well. So I think this solenoid has been going out for a long time and finally decided to give up on me. When I first got the vehicle, the D4 light was flashing, and just doing a little bit of preliminary research online about the problem, I actually added a second grounding wire. But I added a second grounding wire to the transmission because if you guys work on Hondas or Acuras at all, you know Honda grounding wires are junk. They're just junk. So I've actually gone through this vehicle and put in extra grounding straps, extra grounding wires from the transmission to the frame of the vehicle, from the core support to the engine, and from the engine to the transmission as well. Because Honda grounding cables are just junk, and you get some funky problems when a Honda has a bad grounding situation or a bad ground. That's what happens when you see when you're driving at night and you see a car coming towards you, and you see one headlight is a little bit dim and the other one's brighter than the other one. 9 times out of 10, it's a grounding problem. If you have found any of my videos helpful, please consider subscribing to Bundys Garage on YouTube. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Bundys Garage. I'm also on MySpace and Facebook now. So yeah, just follow me socially. It really helps me out if you guys can subscribe to my channel. And like always, I'll keep them rolling for you.